Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to another exciting episode of Psychology Talks. And today we are going to discuss how to create an impactful personal brand. And a lot of people actually ask me that what is the difference between personal branding and how to create it, and what is the difference between personal branding and marketing. And a lot of people get confused that what exactly it is. Do we need to be authentic? Do we need to show ourselves the way we are, or we need to present ourselves who we are not, but a likable image? So this is a confusion between how you create your personal brand in a way that is authentic, that is true you, but that gives the message that who actually are you, because everyone is unique, everyone is different, and that is your strength. When you give your message to your audience, to the people around you, whether you are in a career or having a personal relationship, that all ends up at your personal brand, that how you communicate your image to the other. It's not what you think about yourself, it's all about how people think about you. And as Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, say that your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. And like in earlier days, it's the branding used to be just reserved for the career or the business or the professional world environment. But with the advent of social sites, and like as the economy is booming, then lots of things are coming. Personal branding has become fundamental to every aspect of life. A personal brand is a unique combination of skills and experiences that makes you who you are, and it is how you present yourself to the world. So that's why I have invited a guest who is an expert in this field. She is a visibility coach who has discovered how to overcome the camera shyness, and she's on a mission after that to help others who are struggling to overcome the camera shyness and or struggling to gain visibility or to create an impactful personal brand. Her name is Siri Mahabir. She helps solo entrepreneurs be able to face their camera shyness and help build visibility to the brand and business. So let's welcome Siri. Hello, welcome to
Hello.
Psychology Talks. Thank you so much for joining us. It's an honor to have you.
Oh, it is an honor to be here with you this morning. And I am in agreement with Will, who says, I love how Reeds explains things. I love how she explains things in her posts, in her newsletter. So, yes, I don't even have to say much. I mean, she already said everything. So,
It's just an introduction. Of course, you're an expert, and we're gonna have a discussion. And thanks everyone who is joining from across the globe. And just let me share like who's joined. Osama has joined. Thanks for joining. Abiodon, I think I'm taking the right pronunciation of the name. Just and Osama saying Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum assalam, and Dauda has joined. Thank you so much. He's saying good job. Noman Shirazi. Oh my God, thank you so much, Noman. I mean, it's an honor to have you. I mean, he is my ex-colleague, and he was the director at Unilever, and it's definitely an honor for me to thank you so much for joining us today. And Michael Wood is there. Yes, he's saying that authentic passion, compassion, empathy is a journey. Yes, you're spot on. And Will Sullivan, another good friend over the LinkedIn. Thank you so much for your appreciation. And a lot of people have joined. And keep your comments coming in. If you have any question, please just feel free to share question, comments, and we're gonna answer your questions. And we'll also maybe like if your comments are so insightful, we'll just have your comments, and then we build on the conversation from your comments as well. So keep the conversation going on. So now, coming back to Siri, yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself before we have a discussion. So like our audience get to know you better, that who you are and why you came into this field, and
Okay.
why you're on the mission to help people on, especially on this specific area.
Well, the journey really started when I started my business after the father of my daughter, my ex-husband, passed away. He didn't leave a legacy. So I decided, well, I need to leave a legacy for my daughter. And I started my first business. But I always knew I had a love that it was placed on my heart. Let's hear their journey because you can get testimonials from your clients, but they also have a journey. So when the pandemic happened, I was like, how do I build visibility to what I'm doing? How do I build visibility so others can see that I could help them? So next thing I knew, I saw my friend interviewing entrepreneur. She was interviewing uh, chefs, like different chefs, such as Andrew Zimmerman. So here I am. I'm like, if she can do this, I can do this. So that's how the journey started. I was super nervous, just like I am right now. But I said, you know what? I'm going to be here with my guests and we're going to get through this and we're going to learn together. And we went live, my first live. I had 9 people who said no. And after I hit my 100th live, is when I realized this is a passion of mine. I love being able to help others. Out of the 100, I helped 40 people. So that's when it came to, hey, I want to help solopreneurs and be able to help them get in front of the camera so they can build visibility to their brand and business. So here I am on LinkedIn. I'm doing lives on LinkedIn and I'm helping others. I was working a 9 to 5, and unfortunately, they laid me off in December. And Ahmed was one of them who reached out to me when I was like really, really sad. So I would just say that that moment showed me, yes, you can work in your passion. You might lose it all. I was willing to lose it all, but I knew that this is something in me. As I started this journey in January, full time entrepreneurship, that's when I realized I can also help corporate professionals because video has the power of helping you to develop those soft skills such as public speaking, presentations, or just being able to talk to your boss about the opportunity you want to take on. So, video is not just about building visibility, but it can also help you with soft skills. And these are things I learned along the way as being a full-time entrepreneur. As I've had the opportunity to do speeches, I've done my first master class. It's just as if I was doing a live show. And now I have my first client to be their full time producer. So, doing a live show just like this and taking a concept of theirs from their mind and bringing it to life. And I see that everybody here is dropping in so many comments. I do ask just to help my beautiful friend Umbreen. If you have a question, if you could put the letter Q and then your what you have to ask, that way we know we can ask your question. But I just want to say thank you to everybody who's joined us and all the love that you're sharing. So that's just a little bit about me.
Yeah, actually, it's so inspiring. And uh, the way you said that, like everything happens for a reason. Sometimes these darkest moments help us realize our inner strength. And I think that was the same case with you, because these darkest moments or these difficult times happen for a reason, and when we realize it, we change them into our strengths. And this is the amazing transformation. And I once I saw your video when you posted on the LinkedIn, the way you change yourself, the way you transform yourself, like it's when we are in a state of sorrow, we start neglecting ourselves, we start neglecting all our strengths. And but at that stage, in that state, we need to realize that we are not just defined by that moment. We need to think of ourselves more than that. We are much more capable than in that the moment of the sorrow. We are complete human beings, and that's when we realize our strength. Okay, so Ahmed Khalid, thanks for sharing lots of good comments. He's a good friend, and he is asking also, how did you bounce back through adversity and what? Yes, great question, Ahmed. So, yeah.
Let I definitely, well, I had great support system. I had built a community. So Ahmed was one, Robert, and there's Courtney, there's Shara, but I also hired a coach. So I worked with my mindset. I have my counselor. I also said, you know what, I'm going to invest in myself. So I got a branding coach. So I had a few things I had few people in my life helping me along the way. It wasn't easy. It was a lot of changing that thought of why did they let me go to how can I make this moment the best present ever? How can I look at this as the blessing in disguise? I may not see it today, but I know I'm going to see it months from now. And so when I started to flip these questions of why me, why now, why couldn't it have been later, to now I have this opportunity. How can I make the most of it? How can I change and impact others? This is when I started to put myself out there. Every time I would put a video or share, even posting was very difficult, but I said, just put yourself out there. Just get onto a live. If someone's asking you and you start crying, that's just the real you. You're not hiding behind a wall, because for a while I was hiding behind the wall. And then I realized there's no need for that anymore. This is who I am. I even had people reach out to me and they were like, I was supposed to meet. I remember one live that I did with my with someone, and somebody had reached out to me. I asked them why did they cancel our meeting? They said, well, I just been going through so much and I was just feeling alone. And that really hit me because I've been there. But the one thing that flipped that script is saying, I'm not alone. I have somebody to reach out and talk to someone. When my daughter went off to college in August, that was the hardest time for me. But it was during that time that I realized you do have people. You need to reach out, ask for help. And when this layoff happened, and during the first few months of this year, it's been like that. Even now, I'm still not, there are moments where I'm like, why doesn't this work? Why isn't that, the business is where it should be? But that's because it's a process. Enjoy the process, letting go of those things that what I call ego. There's a lot of ego that has to be let go. There has to be a lot of expectations. I'm still learning. So I just know this much. Today Shri is not the same as January Shri, but if I look at where I want to be in December, it's going to look differently. And I will say this because I said it before, but I'll say it again. Bree's posts and newsletters also opened up some thoughts of how to look at a situation, how to question certain things that you're saying to yourself. For example, I post a video on TikTok. My daughter's birthday was Monday. I posted on TikTok and I look at the messaging, I'm like, why did I say that? Why did I post that? And I told myself, stop. You can redo it. You can change it. And that's exactly what I did, and what I posted on Instagram and LinkedIn is something different. Is accepting that you're sometimes going to make content that sucks, but you still have to know that there's going to be opportunities where your videos, your posts, your carousel is going to be the best thing that somebody needs to hear. But
Yeah.
if you stop at, oh, this sucked, you will never continue. But if you say, you know what, in a month, I had 10 posts that went viral and the other 20 didn't,
Yeah.
that 10 is all that needed. And plus, you're only talking to one person. Umbreen always creates content and she's talking to one person. I feel like she's talking to me every time. So if you think in that mindset, you're only creating for one person, and that one person is looking up to you. You are their superhero. I know it's a lot of pressure, but sometimes you have to think you're only talking to one. Many times I think I'm just talking to my daughter, and it turns out there's all these other people.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you explained it so well, and I can so much relate that, a lot of people say that, actually, a lot of people ask that, how to create an impact and create a like impact at the larger, like at the wider capacity or something. And I just said, don't think in terms of number or quantity. You need to just focus on changing the life of one person. And if my post don't go viral, that does I mean, it's okay. If it just touches the heart of one person and changes the life of the person, that is what matters, and that's it. And I do get a lot of DMs, like, that, how their lives changed after, maybe reading my post. Or I do also provide some counseling and something. And it just helps me. It gives me so much pleasure that, to seeing someone is succeeding just because of you. It's okay that I'm not touching the million life. That's okay. It's gonna come naturally maybe afterward, because like when you change the life of one person, that actually creates itself a ripple effect, a domino effect, that, you keeps on changing. And that's how you start sharing the goodness and start spreading love and kindness. And this is how we need to focus on. So I think there was one more question. Christopher asked, and said, "What is the best way to manage people who have lower level of emotional intelligence than our own?" And they start getting toxic. Some people get toxic, stranger, and so on projections. So yeah, that's a very tricky one, actually. So would you like to go?
I will speak from a non psychological aspect,
Okay.
meaning that when I am working with my clients, the thought is the judgment of what others will say when you are posting a video or going live, whether it's on LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Instead of focusing on that, focus on you and the delivery of your message. Your first live, your first video is not going to be the best, but it's the consistency. And yes, you will get people. My first video on LinkedIn got a lot of people saying some things that hurt my feelings, but I also had the tolerance too to say, I can either look at this as them attacking me, or I can look at it as criticism that I can use for my betterment. And many times I just looked at it as, okay, this is just their comment. I don't know what they're going through, but this has nothing to do with me. Same thing with people in my life. I started to cut people out, not because they were bad people, but because their energy was affecting me and I needed to level up myself. So I blocked them out. I've already gotten on TikTok a lot of craziness, but I've also learned this is just part of social media. They only see a little bit of your life. You are in power of what you want to share. So when I put out and coach other clients, it's about what are common questions that you get? What are common myths and objections that you have? And start that conversation. And let's focus on those who are really looking for you and don't know you exist. And maybe within the people who know you don't know that you do what you do. And so the other stuff is not even talked about. It's more focused on you, delivery, and putting yourself out there. So I'll
Yeah.
let Amreen finish the rest.
No, no, actually, you just answered to the question very well. Uh, it's basically, don't take it personally. Okay. First of all, how you define toxic. One very, very important thing is, like, there is one thing that, you need to define. Like, first of all, you don't need to cut out every person just saying that that person is toxic. But the thing is, like, if someone is giving a feedback, okay, so take it and then see it. What is the, what is the rationale behind that person is saying? Okay, it's okay, it may not resonate well with you, and it may have some, the person might have given you a different perspective. So first of all, keep your emotions away when you're dealing with the people. Take them as they are. But in case, if the person, you see that, you know your what's your focus, what is your goal, and then decide, okay, if the person is really hurting your feeling, and the feedback that person has given you is not basically giving you any constructive feedback, then you need to move on. So that's one way of looking at it, that first you need to define that what is toxic, and then you realize if the person is really toxic, then you need to move away from that person, because you need your mental peace, and if you don't have the mental peace, you won't be able to perform better. Second thing is that when you are in a situation, you feeling hurt, and as Sri is also said, that you just take a step back, realize it, it's not about, it's not about you, sometimes it's about them. Because what happens is, in any relationship, if there is a disbalance and he's feeling, it happens, like, when somebody does not like you, it's all about the friction happens when there's insecurities create a friction between your insecurities, like you don't like something because it touches something, your weak point, or your areas which you don't want to talk about. So that these insecurities, I feel, that makes a lot of friction. So be aware of yourself and the entire situation, and then move on. One thing is, like, keep focus on your goal. What do you want? Why do you want it? And then just keep doing out. And the thing is, as she said, that first video could not be like the perfect one. First step will not be the perfect one, but you took the first step, and you should give credit to yourself, honor yourself, reward yourself for doing that, and that's how you move on. And Noman Shirazi had said, I think he's already left, but maybe you can say that. He said that there are two key aspects, what you're talking about right now, the personal part, and the other is how to leverage technology or social media. Like, I hope you can touch upon the later part as well. So yes, definitely, we're gonna touch upon the both sides, the personal part and the social media part. Personal part, as we've already, it's about in every relation. I think we talk about at the moment now that it's all about your relationship with the people. And then, as I said, that we need to find our own purpose, our own strengths and weakness, and then we need to be clear that what actually you want to give the message to the audience, and that's how we move on. And social media is just, or technology is just the way to communicate. And as Sri said, that is just the 1% maybe of our own lives. So that's how it is. But the thing is that it creates more impact uh, towards
It
this.
does.
Yeah.
I was
So,
taking notes. So if anybody was wondering, I have my notes right here.
oh,
As she was talking, I was taking notes, which I highly recommend to anybody who's watching the live or catching the replay. There are a lot of really great nuggets, something that you could take away from it.
yeah, definitely. So, okay, moving on to the discussion that we already have talked a lot about personal branding and leveraging social media. But again, I would like to focus more on the social media, because like your specialization in this video visibility and coach. So what are the ways one can actually use social media to create more visibility? What are the ways we can enhance our personal visibility, or create a personal brand which creates an impact? So what are the ways? Maybe you can touch upon that.
So first thing is asking yourself, what is your why? Why are you doing this? Why are you showing up? And who are you serving? What can you offer that will solve a problem? So you have your potential client. What does that look like? What are they thinking? What are they dreaming of? What are they worried about when they go to sleep? How much money are they making? You've got to identify with who this person is so that when you create the content that you're creating is solving a problem that they have. How are you taking them from where they are today and where they see themselves in the future? Because what your goal is may not be the same goal as what you have for yourself. So it could be that they just want to be able to create a video. So in my case, what tips can I share that will help them see past that? So it always starts with, what are you telling yourself? What is the relationship with yourself? Are you focused more on what others are saying, or are you focused on the way you look? If you're a public speaker, a keynote speaker, you're so used to getting reactions from people right away. But with video, it takes a little bit of time because you have to create the video, then you have to post it. So it's understanding, where is my audience? Is it on LinkedIn? Is it on TikTok? Is it on Instagram? And then learning that app. So focus on it. We all want to go on TikTok. You can find your potential client on TikTok. It is possible. But when you're starting out, figure out which app you want to be on the most. TikTok is heavily, heavily video. If you're not comfortable with video, then stay with LinkedIn or Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. Where are your potential clients? And when you start leveraging that, posting, then you will see, am I answering the question that they like or need or have? Or am I providing a solution, or am I sharing a bit of wisdom of what it's like to be an entrepreneur, or what it's like to be in a hard situation? Maybe you had a bad client, maybe you had a bad experience. How can your experience help somebody else? So for example, I've been taught, don't niche down so much that you don't allow others to come into your community. You could post content where you are inviting others into your community, and then you can have one piece of content that speaks directly to what you do. For example, a lot of the tips that I put out is that, hey, you want to get in front of the camera. Why do you want to get in the front of the camera? Is it to build visibility for your business, or is it to build visibility to your 9 to 5? Is it that you want to increase your public speaking skills, or is it that you want to be able to share, hey, I know the problems that you have and I'm here to solve them?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think it's the strategy of personal branding is the same, whether it's social media or in the personal relationship or the professional relationship. It starts with why. You need to have a proper objective, that why you are doing this. And the other thing that you actually mentioned is the audience, because personal branding is all about thinking from your audience mind, that what actually they need to hear, right? And how would they take it? So if you define your objective, your why, and then think that whom you are giving this message to, right? You need to keep your audience in mind, that how will they take it, whether like you are appearing in a job interview, you are in a corporate environment, or you are posting a video on any social media. Think that what is your why and how would you communicate to your audience. And it comes up with, and it encompasses everything: the way you dress up, the way you speak, the way you deliver the message. It will, it will encompass each and every aspect of the message. So that is like, I feel that this is it. I think there's one more question here
Yeah.
from Christopher. Do you think LinkedIn is supposed to be business to business, while these other platforms are business to consumer? So
I just have a different take. I'm always I like to be a little bit of a contrarian. I say if you are wanting to get business to business, you can. If you want to be business to consumer, you can. You can find that on all the platforms. I just have the mindset of who are you trying to speak to? Is it to another business, such as a larger corporation, or are you just focused on the small business owner, the solo entrepreneur, the coach, or the psychologist who is running their own business? Who are you speaking to? So
Yeah.
I've been on both spectrums. Yes, LinkedIn has more of the larger corporations on here, Fortune 500. You will find most of us who have a job are on LinkedIn. So you will be able to speak to them. Now, are they active on LinkedIn is a different story. Because I do have clients who are hesitant to get on LinkedIn, and I do have clients who don't want to waste their time on Instagram. They rather learn about TikTok.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's pretty obvious for you that, like once, I would say that once you know your why and once you know your audience, then it's easy to define that where you want to be. And the thing is that, it's not us that we decide that, LinkedIn should be the business to business or the business to consumer. You find that, like people on Instagram also having like business to business relationship, and it's everywhere. It's actually, I would just say that, all the business are actually interaction with humans. So don't take it as like the B2B, B2C. You just need to think that, you are dealing with another human, and that's it. If you don't categorize in a way that, okay, we just don't doing this business to consumer, so this would be, yes, this may help you, but the first element is you should never forget that you would be dealing with the human, and try never for to not to forget this part, that the other person would have emotions, and you need to take that person in totality, not as a, that person is a prospect and that person is not just the business to business client. You never know, the other person might have some different need. So just take it, define your objective and define your audience, and that's how you can pick and choose the platform. But the thing is, there's no harm in sharing your content in LinkedIn or Insta. It's okay, it's better to try, it's better to experiment, because you never know what's the strategy of LinkedIn today, and it might change the other day. So I would just say keep experimenting.
Yes, keep experiment. And I would say to Christopher's comment, I don't mind non-business posts. I actually like all the word stuff. Your non-business post goes in alignment to one of your your pillars. So what are your pillars look like? Are you
Yeah,
an entrepreneur? Are you looking at tips, education? Because it doesn't always have to be serious. You can have one post where I did one which was with my daughter and I. We were on a swing set, and it was I did it perfectly, and people, this is what we think video should look like. And then my daughter was on the swing set and her legs went up, and this is reality. So you can have fun with your
yeah,
content, but if you go way off and it doesn't make sense, then people will question what are you doing? What is your
absolutely.
intent? But if it all goes together, maybe you're a Star Wars fan and you have
Yeah,
some memes with Star Wars, or you have some reference to it because it goes to what you do, then use
yeah.
it. But if it doesn't, don't use it.
Yeah, absolutely. If it does not align with your objective, your personal values, your the way you want to uh, create your image, that's how it is. And just as I said earlier, just think from your audience perspective. That how would they take it? And that's it.
Mm,
That's how it is. Like, it's it's again, it's not about what you think about yourself. It's about how your audience think about it. For example, even if you are in a job interview or if you are in a corporate environment, if you want to present your brand image, that's all depends on how you actually want to portray yourself. You can also define yourself. It's the one thing that the very important thing is, like, if you want to define your personal brand, define your values first, define yourself first, and then you start projecting, working on each element. That, okay, I want to project myself as a kind person, I want to project myself as a, let's say, expert in this particular area. And then, then you start doing it, then you need to do a lot of work in that. And then of course you can get in touch with Sri to actually, and she can help you in that how you can actually maximize this. So yeah.
Yes, using the power of video. But I would also add, if what we're sharing, you still have questions, there is a book, Start With Your Why, by
Yeah.
Simon Sinek, and it's a really
Yes.
great read, and it goes into more detail about with your why. Because
Yeah.
Amreen and I, we figured out a lot of our why. I would say our why may have like it's gotten more deeper of how because of the different opportunities we've been able to work with others. But if you're still questioning, Start With Your Why by Simon Sinek.
Yeah, yeah. And Christopher is saying that he likes Napoleon Hill, and yes, that's my all-time favorite. So yes, definitely, Think and Grow
Yes,
Rich
that's
is
a
one
good
of
book.
the most amazing, the book I ever read. So, anyways, now we're actually reaching an end to the show. So, what one advice would you give to our audience today?
One advice that I would give to everybody in the audience is you are a hero to somebody. And you don't realize the impact that you have because you are just out here posting content or you're showing up. That simple hello, that simple smile, they look forward to. So don't give up. Just keep doing what you're doing. And remember, your goals will not happen unless you put them into action.
Yes, brilliant advice. And I think everyone has a story. And when you start sharing your story, it may give someone others to, or it gives other permission to feel it and to move with their problems in the life the way you moved. So, like, first of all, it creates that they are not alone. For example, sometimes I start sharing my thoughts because I felt that way. And I was, of course, surprised to see that, people also feel the same way. And it's when I start sharing my thoughts, that also gives them the idea that, okay, someone else could also feel that way. And that's perfectly okay to feel that way in the situation. It's not something that, something has happened to them and they're suffering alone. No, they're not suffering alone. People like them are there, who are going through the same phase or who have gone through the same phase, and you can give them the inspiration to move on. So yes, that's a wonderful advice. Thank you.
Yes.
And before I actually finish the show, tell our audience that how they can actually reach out to you. What is the best platform, or what is the best way to connect with you?
So you can definitely connect with me here on LinkedIn. If you are thinking about going live, I do have a free e-guide that shows you how to go live. But if you want to learn more about what it's like to work one-on-one with me, go ahead and message me video and we will go from there because I would love to be able to help you to do something like what Umbreen and I are doing. We're sharing our stories. We're coming on here teaching you, and hopefully one of you, just one, is impacted with our message.
Yeah, that's and she's very active on LinkedIn, so you can just DM her on LinkedIn, and she's also on several other platforms, like she said, TikTok and Insta and YouTube. And so whichever platform you're active, just search her name and message her, and she's definitely gonna reply to you, and she will be willing to uh, help you. And if you have any other question you wanted to ask me, just DM me on LinkedIn, or of course I'm also on Insta, Twitter, and YouTube. So feel free to reach out to us anytime, and we'll be really happy to help you out. So thanks a lot for joining, whoever joined us today, and they've taken time out. And of course, this was a limited time. I may not have answered all your questions because it's a vast topic. But if you have more questions, feel free to ask. Feel free to reach out to me or Sri, and definitely we're gonna love to help you out.
Thank you so much, Umbreen, and thank you everybody who is here on the live and watching the replay. Until Umbreen's next live.
Yeah, definitely. And please watch out for my book launch, which is very, very close within a week or so. So d- subscribe to my newsletter at my website, uh, thepsychologytalks.com, and just keep an eye because I'm gonna announce the date very soon, but it's real soon, so watch out. And until next time, bye bye, take care.